Good morning, my beautiful ladies, and welcome. That actually sounds insane to say, but welcome to a second episode of my brand new podcast. Yay! So, as some of you might have noticed, I started a podcast, and today is a second episode. The podcast name is The Harsh Truths with Alicia Griffiths, because we're going to talk here about, guess what, some harsh truths in life. And I decided that I have so much to tell you, so many things, life related, business related, relationships related, experience related, taking risks, and all of that, that it does not fit into my regular luxury related content. So I will dedicate a podcast to it, and it will be uploaded here on YouTube as a usual video, but you can also find it at podcast tab on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. If you go to a channel and you click tab podcast, it will be there. All the episodes will be uploaded there. So hopefully you can enjoy me yapping whilst you do your steps, 10,000 steps or whatever, setting up a laundry or dishwasher, and you can have my voice in your ear telling you what's up. So today we're going to talk about how to be successful in life. But by the way, before we get there, let me just tell you, I am incredibly tired. I had insane night. My two dogs woke me up 4 times last night, tapping with their little feet all over the place in search for life meaning. I don't know. And my 5 months old decided to have a hiccup attack lasting for God knows what, how long. So today, I barely remember what my name is. Thanks God I remember how to speak out of all this tiredness, sleep deprivation, and just being full on for at least, I think, 8 months now, like really non-stop and full on. But anyway, here we are today. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. My baby is sleeping. We don't know how long for. But yeah, let's make the most out of this time. And today I want to talk to you about how to be successful. And success, I consider not only money making, not only career wise, but also your place in life, where you are in life, where you live, who are you married to, who are you dating, what your relationship looks like, how you look, how you take care of yourself, and like both career and personal wise, everything falls into that. And we know that success is not only one dimension. It has been projected to us for such a long time that success is monetary and financial, which it is, but not only, because there are so many people who are old and rich and die miserable and lonely. So obviously you are only successful if you are able to build to your satisfactory extent in all aspects of life, which are career, personal life, health, family, relationships, and all that. So I had deep thoughts about that for the last couple of months, especially since I have become a mom, because when I became a mom 5 months ago, the time that I have has shrunk and the responsibilities has multiplied. So it's very important to take a step back and navigate all that in order to make the most out of the 24 hours that I have, which feels like 5, because sometimes I feel like day goes by in 5 hours. But anyway, so today I want to talk to you about how to be successful. And when people think of success, they think that it has to be this grandiose, super huge thing happening overnight so you can be successful. But I think we're all adult enough here to know that there's not a single success that happens overnight. And even if it looks like this to outside, it has been in the building phase for long before anyone knows about it. It has been building behind the scenes, People don't see the everyday struggle and everyday build. Same like raising a child, if you want to raise amazing human being, it doesn't happen overnight. It's years and years and years of consistency in the making. So then you have a result of someone who is a whole as a person or someone who's broken and enters adulthood with the broken spirit and mind and soul. But yeah, that's another topic. So today I want to talk about a couple of thoughts that I wrote down here that I decided very strongly to implement quite recently, when I felt that I'm overwhelmed with so much going on in my life. I'm a new mom, I'm running a household, I'm trying to build a business, try to take care of my relationship, about my physical fitness and health, and all of this is a lot. So little things that I implement. I mean, we can talk about each of these little things in a great length, and each of them could be a separate podcast episode, in all honesty, but I'm just going to mention them as brief as I can, not to make it last forever, but things I introduced recently. Number one, very important, something that frees up huge amount of time weekly for me and release extreme amount of emotional load, is I am going to stop being everyone's therapist. Let me tell you, I am known for that in the circle of my friends, to be everyone's therapist. Everyone comes to me with their problems, with their issues, and I am listening to that endlessly. And there's rarely about me, almost never about me or my life. It's always them and their problems. And I try to be a good friend, and I always try to fix and help and advise and repair and suggest a solution and all that. But you know what I realized, because it's been years of that in case of some of the friends, if someone is coming to you all the time and vents and doesn't implement what you advise them, it is actually, my husband opened my eyes to that. He said that this is disrespectful to you, because you spend time and energy to trying to help someone, and someone doesn't take into consideration your advice that took energy to convey and time that could be spent elsewhere, and they continue making the same mistake and the same repetitive pattern, and then they come back to you to vent about how it all went downhill again, because they did again the same thing, which is in opposite to what you advised them. What bullshit is that? Honestly, I realize I have no time to continue listening literal podcasts of venting of people who complain about how men are, how this is, how this, while they are doing exactly the same mistakes. And I can see that. I can tell, like, I think this is the wrong thing to do. This is the mistake you are doing. Here is the mistake, and this is why. The repetitive pattern occurs in repetition all the time, and you have the same result all the time, and they keep doing the same. So that's it. End of free therapy. I'm not going to spend my time, because if you come and vent about the same mistakes that you are doing over and over and over and over and over and over again, you don't want a solution, you just want to vent. And I have no time to be a sponge who absorbs venting. You know, it's not my job. Go to therapy, pay someone to listen to you, pay someone to listen to venting, and maybe then you will be appreciating advice more, because you paid for it, and you will actually implement it. Because I think when you give things free, that is about everything in life. If you give it for free, people don't respect it and don't value it. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to work, when it comes to everything, you know. So that's it. My time is not free anymore, and my time is not to be used like a donkey just because someone wants to offload their emotion, their stress. And you know, women especially have this, not women, me, to be honest, because I was raised this way by my mother, to take all the bullshit and be everyone's problem solver, everyone's therapist, everyone's helper. Everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be a good friend and listen to you endlessly, although I have things to do. And I don't get anything in return. Recently, old friend of mine, after a couple of years of relationship being dissolved between us, reached out again to rekindle. So I remember very well, although I have a positive sentiments towards that relationship, and I really like this person for many things, it reminded me why the relationship didn't work out in the first place, because it was very one-sided and it was constant negativity. listening to negativity all day long. Every message, every voice message was very, very negative, and it was all about them, never about me. I was also going through a hard period of my life then, but I was trying to stay positive regardless and enjoy the good things in life that I have. But there was no one to enjoy the good thing in that dynamic. There was no one to enjoy the good thing with me. It was like misery likes company type of vibe. So as long as we complain about her problems, it's fine. But she was not there to be happy for me, for the good things. So that's offensive as well. If the friends are with you only to feel good that you are also doing bad and not good, so they can feel better about their shit life at the time, but they're not happy for you when you are in a big transitional periods of your life, those are not real friends as well. There are the epitome of misery likes the company saying. So those are the things that I have to step away from in order to better my life, because as I'm saying, success is composed of such a small little habits, and they all combine and join together and result into what the quality of your life looks like, and how your time daily is managed, and how efficient and productive you can be with your time during the day and with your energy during the day, and where it goes. And you have to make sure it goes to the right places. Another thing is, I'm sick of being modest when I should be proud. I was also raised this way, and I think this is the case for women in many cultures, that they are taught to be modest, not to boast, not to brag, minimize your achievement. When men achieve something, he will shout it from the rooftop, but woman is almost shamed by, or like looked weirdly at when she's saying firmly that she's proud of her success. And I'm done with that too. I realized recently, after I turned 40 and look back at my life, I've done incredibly fucking well, to be honest. And I deserve a pat in the back from every possible side. And I'm going to be giving it to myself, and done with being modest and playing small and playing also sometimes this fake modesty people expect from women. I don't know for what, actually, to feel convenient, to not to be intimidated by women being too much. I don't know. And it's a topic for another podcast in itself, as I said. And another thing is, I am actually done, and that is especially thing that bothers me with women. I'm done being nice to compensate for other women's insecurities. This was something that was happening quite often to me. I'll tell you a story that happened recently, but I realized that I have some type of vibe or some type of aura about me, whether it's the way I look, whether it's the way I present, whether it's the way I talk, whether it's the cadence, tone of the voice, or my jokes and wit and confidence, or my achievement, or things I have to say, or how I say it. It makes women who are insecure very uncomfortable. And I can read body language very well, and I can read people very well. And I've been observing that sometimes I enter the room and there's a person who doesn't know me, and I can already read that person, face expression, body language, little mimic, grimaces, everything, that shows that this person is uncomfortable around me because it's insecure around me. And I notice that, and I immediately try to compensate for it, like almost trying to prove to her, because she already probably thinks of me, oh, she's a stuck-up bitch. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 like I'm going to convince you, I'm going to prove to you that I'm nice. I am a nice person, so I'm going to act like small, not to say anything that could, make people feel less than when they compare themselves to me. So I'm going to just be convenient and pleasing, people pleasing, and be nice just to prove to her that I'm not a bitch. Like, you know what? If someone feels uncomfortable because of who you are, this is not a person to be with anyway. I met I wanted to say a friend, but she's not my friend. I met a woman I tried to be friends with some time ago when I was new to this country. So, for the lack of better option, I really tried to make it work for a while. And she was very insecure and jealous from the get go, but I was still trying to give her benefit of the doubt. And she told me once that I'm intimidating. And I'm thinking, I'm not intimidating. You are intimidated. And that's on you. You feel insecure because you compare yourself to me. And whatever I am in your eyes makes you see the shortcomings or lackings in who you are. And women do that to themselves all the time. Partially, maybe it's not her fault. Maybe she was raised in the way that she always compares herself to other people and feels not good enough, or was growing up in the environment that women are pitted against each other. And that's why I always have these type of things in the back of my head. So I try to give people benefit of the doubt. But then again, that I'm done with being everyone's therapist again and trying to justify people's action towards me and play in order to mold into their issues, to walk around their issues and tiptoe around their issues because they have these issues that I can see through and I'm aware of. So I'm trying to be extra nice. You know how much energy does it burn? And that's it, I'm done. If you feel intimidated, bye, girl. Work on yourself and come back when you're ready. Might be too late, but at least you've done some work, so good for you anyway. Yeah, and that leads me to another thing, that stop trying to please everyone. At some point I watched an interview with Steve Jobs and he said, you can please some people some of the time, and this is the truth. And I decided to choose who I care to please. And I gave it a thought, and I realized that the only person who knows me really, really inside out and whose opinion about my life, behavior, and choices matters to me is my husband. So obviously I will try to please him. Not at the cost of myself, but to please him so our team and a family can function well, and that goes both ways. But anyone else opinion should not really matter. No one knows what's going on behind the scenes, and no one knows your vision, your goal, your story behind your where you are in life and the battle you fight every day. So therefore, no one's opinion matter. And obviously, the moment you try to break the constants, break the status quo and do something different, something more, of course people are gonna talk. It's not, it's inevitable, right? But it's better to be talked about than be a miserable bitch that does the talking. So I don't care anymore about what anyone has to say about my life choices, because I used to, I was never overly caring about that, but sometimes I was, and that was in regards to the wrong people. So yeah, I have to do what I have to do, and I do it the way I think is right for me, for myself, for my family, for my marriage, for my business, for my future. And I think this is the approach that everyone has to implement and just cancel the noise. And last but not least, there's obviously more to it, and we will talk about it in extensive ways on different topics throughout upcoming episodes of this podcast. But one more other thing that I would like to add to this equation is I'm done just hanging out with people who are worlds apart from me. That's also something I learned from my husband. Before that, I used to have a habit of hanging out with people who are nowhere near close to my mindset, just because we are friends from the past, or I like them, they're like nice people, but we have grown apart completely, or we have nothing in common, or we have very different ethics in terms of work-life balance. And so what did it result in? It's like you're spending time with those people and you realize it's just such a waste of time, because it's like hanging out. For them it's fine because they have entertainment of someone who have energy spent for them, but those people don't add anything back to my life. We are very different, so they have nothing to say that would benefit me, or in any way. Some people just like to hang out because they want to feel the time in the day, because they have nothing better to do, so they just want to hang out, and they are time wasters and energy wasters, and they don't really give anything to your life. They talk about themselves only, they don't ask how you are, they don't contribute anything really. They only take your resources, what you have to say, your energy, your time, your sense of humor, your jokes. But you realize after a conversation like this that you are drained and there's nothing in return. So that also has to be cut out, because I'm not in high school. Even in high school, I was more busy than that. This is probably a trap of being a foreigner in a new country, that it takes time to build meaningful relationships, and sometimes you hang out with people that maybe would not be your first choice if you were born in this current country for a long time, but you just met. You have one thing in common. Maybe sometimes it's nationality, sometimes it's the same people, but and you want to build some friendship, you want to build relationships. But if it's just one-sided, if it's time wasting, if it's energy draining, it's a no. Enough of sacrificing my resources just to be nice, because women are brainwashed to be nice. Brainwashed to be nice by society, by cultures, by mothers, by women always have to be nice and be responsible for everyone's emotions. And that's something I'm done with. I have a workout to do, I have a child to take care of, I have business to build, I have a husband to spend time with, I have meals to cook and healthy food to eat, and I have so much to do. My day is fully planned from the morning till evening, and there is no time for time wasting energy. So when you think of all those things that I mentioned in this podcast, you will realize how much energy and time implementing those mentioned rules free up in your day. It gives you so much energy retained that you can spend on building your life and on building your success, both career-wise and personal life-wise, because then all of a sudden you have all this new regained time and energy that you were in sync and like giving away for free. It's like turning on the water and let it run, and it's just being wasted, instead of watering the plants that surround you. So then you realize how much resources you have within you to spend when it's supposed to be spent. Because no one remembers the time and energy I spent for all of this free therapy for people, because those people, some of them, are not even the people who are happy for me for when I do better. I think sometimes it makes people uncomfortable see other people grow when they are still in the same spot. So there is a handful of people, very small, who is cheering up for me. And these are the only people I'm going to give attention to moving forward. So, let me know if you are still struggling with any of these, like energy, time management, or people pleasing thing, or having draining people around you. Let me know which one of these is the most common, or maybe being too modest or shrinking yourself to please people who are insecure so they are not intimidated by you. Let me know if that's something that you come across in your life and something common moving on through your 30s, through your 20s, through your 40s, whether it's work or private life. I am always open to discussion, and I'm always interested to read your stories and your comments, and I read every single comment, and I'm always interested to see your perspective. So that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching or for listening, if you're only listening, and I hope to see you very soon in the next one. Have a lovely day.